as a leader, the behavior of those in your charge is really important, right? So one of the things that we've been talking to other leaders about is like, as you're observing behavior, you have a choice, right? Those in your charge, employees, could be family members, but I'll stick with employees today. Employees that have certain behaviors, and you observe those behaviors and you're assessing to yourself, do those behaviors lend itself to be a constraint to hold this person back in their career? Do these behaviors lend themselves to be a catalyst to propel them in their career? And you have choices as a leader, as you're watching the behavior of those in your charge. Do you have the willingness to take action? Meaning, many of us watch the behavior of somebody in our charge and we do nothing. I've done that a bunch, right? And that's the worst version of me as a leader, observing the behavior of those in my charge that might be a constraint to their growth and development, and conversely, behavior that might be a catalyst. If I say nothing, that's not good, right? It's just not the best version of myself. If I see behavior that's a constraint and I speak to that with respect, right? I'm respectful and I say, hey, I just observed you doing something that I think could be a hindrance to your career. That's really, really important leadership, right? For me to actually speak to that. And if I'm doing that, I think it's also really helpful to make sure that you have a balance of speaking to behavior that's a constraint. So I would say, Jerry, you need to speak more frequently to your team when you see them doing behavior that you think's a constraint. Jerry, I think you should say something to them, right, professionally. And it should be balanced, right? So when I'm observing them doing a behavior that's a constraint, I should speak to that. Conversely, when I see them doing a behavior that's a catalyst, I should speak to that. And I think when you get out of balance, leaders, I think that's when it's incredibly unhealthy, right? So unbalanced, I don't say anything, not healthy, Jerry. So unbalanced that I'm just acknowledging behavior that's a constraint, Jerry, not healthy. And then conversely, if I'm just acknowledging behavior that's a catalyst, that's not healthy either. So I think the tension, this is very fluid. And as leaders, we live in between. So anyway, consider that and maybe ask those in your charge, what do you think my proclivity is? Like, what do you experience? Do you experience me saying nothing about your behavior? Do you experiencing me saying disproportionately too much about the behavior that's a constraint? Do you hear me saying too much, acknowledging too much of your behavior that's a catalyst? Where, get some feedback from your staff, get some feedback from other leaders to say, hey, measure me on my willingness to provide feedback. It's really critical.